everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be reviewing the 2025 action comedy Fight or Flight. This movie stars Josh Hartnett in one of his wackiest roles. This really is a bonkers action comedy / spy movie, and you know what? I really enjoyed it. I think this is a fast-paced ride. There is action almost from the first frame to the last. It just doesn't come up for air. And this is one of those movies that is confined to a pretty claustrophobic space. It pretty well all takes place on an international flight. Now, Josh Hartnett plays a disgraced mercenary or ex-CIA agent who is taking on a job where he has to track down a high-value asset on an international flight. Now, this asset is only known as the Ghost. He does not know who it is, but he quickly finds out that himself and the asset are under threat because the plane is full of hired assassins. So the film has a great setup, and it is just peppered with these high-octane, fast-paced, thrill-a-minute action sequences. It just goes from one to the next, and they really try to be so inventive. And Hartnett just throws himself into this movie with reckless abandonment, and I think it's one of his most entertaining performances to date. So if you're a fan of Josh Hartnett, this is really a movie to see. Now, Hartnett was quiet there for a few years, and he is now making somewhat of a comeback. Back in the late 90s and early 2000s, he really was a bit of a teen heartthrob, and I think the last movie that I saw on a cinema screen prior to this one was Josh Hartnett teaming with Harrison Ford in Hollywood Homicide, and that was back in 2003. So 22 years later, he's back in this big action comedy, and he is really showing shades of himself that we've never ever seen on the screen before. So this movie is very entertaining, but I will say it's quite violent. It's really got those black comedy tones. So there's bursts of violence that will catch some audience members by surprise, but that's just the thrill of this film, is the unexpected. Although if you've seen the trailers, you will know there is a chainsaw scene in this film, and whether the chainsaw aspect pushes things too far, that's open to taste. I felt it did get a little bit out of control at the end with that chainsaw, but it does then settle down again, and it presents at the finale of the film that there is a doorway to a sequel and a possible franchise here, with Hartnett teaming up with that asset moving forward. So there's a lot on display to enjoy in Fight or Flight, and I really had a good time with it. This was a bit of a surprise. I almost didn't go and see it. It has had a pretty checkered release calendar. I think this movie came out on Sky TV in the UK back in February, and when it was released in America, it came out in limited circulation. It didn't do big business, and finally it wound up in Australia with little or no fanfare. But I took a chance. I'm glad I did. And I think Hartnett really is a breath of fresh air. So I'm looking forward to maybe seeing a second one of these films. So let's hope it's popular enough or becomes a bit of a cult classic where we get to see another burst of Hartnett in full throttle action. So Fight or Flight was a bit of a surprise. It's absurd, it's violent, it's crazy, it's wacky. It is really a film that will have you on the edge of your seat. It'll grab you by the seat of your pants, and it won't relinquish the grip until it throws you outside the plane. So you've been warned. There's even some really interesting music choices in this film, and the chaos on screen will just keep you buzzing. So Fight or Flight. It's nonsensical, but it entertains. And sometimes that's all you need at the cinema. So that just about does it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon.